Fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith.
There are approximately 450,000 full-time Christian missionaries serving across the world. And at some point in time, each of them made the decision to move from the certain to the uncertain. And today I'm joined by my lovely friends, Pamela and Alberto, who are all also fellow members of the ICF Church. And for the people listening, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves, like one or two words about you guys, sentences about you guys.
Sure.
Well, thank you for inviting us here. For us, it's a blessing to be here and sharing with all of the people about what we do in missions.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we are from Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
We came to Poland almost 2 years ago. And at the end of the first year, we had the opportunity to start missions. And wow, it changed a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really came to Warsaw for work, but we are sure that God had bigger plans for us when called us to live here. Mm-hmm. So we are very glad to be here today and talk about this important topic.
Okay, so this topic is missionary trips, specifically you guys' mission trips across the world, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess the first natural question is, when and how did you know that God was calling you guys to mission trips? Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Yeah,
was it an easy decision?
It was kind of a process, I would say, because both of us were in our local church. Mm-hmm. We served in our local church. We had like this, like church life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then the pastor had like this, like guidance from the Holy Spirit to change things, to say, okay, we are very comfortable here. Yeah. We need to go and spread the word. We need to go and make disciples. Mm-hmm. So we started a process as a church when we started to learn more about missions. And maybe you could share a little bit of what we did in in this time.
Yeah, so when we were back in Costa Rica, we had all this process of, pastor having this new focus around missions. So what should we be doing on this? So what's our specific calling? Because something that we would like to say today is that all of us, we have a calling towards missions. So Jesus has commanded us to actually go and talk to everyone and teach them around what we believe as is the most important truth in life, which is the gospel, right? So when we were doing that process, we encountered the situation of being invited to move here to Poland, and that's where with the context that we had in our local church, we started to do small trips to Albania, to Italy, to other places around Europe, and that's where we started. And initially it was more of probably something that we saw as a one-off, and then we started seeing how God was confirming us to keep doing that.
Okay, so this was like after you guys moved here and you started going on these mission trips.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are married. Did you have the same drive to go on missions? Was it a mutual thing, or was one of you guys kind of feeling it more than the other, and then you're like, hey, Alberto, I think we have to go to missions? Or was it you, Alberto, like, hey, listen, Pamela, I feel like the Lord is calling us to do this? Like, I'm just kind of curious how that conversation was like between you guys.
I mean, like, before getting married, we had it very clear that we need to do missions. We need to serve God. And that was like one of the, like fundamental things like we put in place before getting married. So we were both very aligned with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like having that conversation, it was just a desire, and we were just talking like off mic, how it can look so distant from the reality that you are actually in right now. So, for example, we were 20 years old back in Costa Rica. We had our own jobs, like completely normal people, and God gave us this opportunity to move here. But really, doing missions can look like this, or it can look like going to a Bible study and inviting a friend, or it can look like just going to serve your community and show the love of Jesus to them. So this was our scenario in that specific moment. But when we talked, even before getting married, it was more of a, we just want to serve God, and that's how He led us to here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I understand correctly, it's like you guys both understood that we want to serve God when we get married. We want to get married and serve the Lord, right? But you guys were kind of unclear what that actually looked like, right?
Yeah.
And then because of the church and your pastor, like maybe nudging or encouraging people to spread the gospel, to go on mission trips, and you guys, you know, I guess God opened the door for you guys to come to Poland, and you're like, okay, I think this is it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. And I guess the truth is, many people, myself included, actually, as much as I hate to admit this, before this recording, and I was just thinking about mission trips and mission, like going on missions, we're all called to spread the gospel, right?
Right.
And as you said, Pamela, that's in a way of spreading the gospel. And I thought, well, maybe a missionary is a person who travels. That's the only thing I had in mind. Like, oh, if you're a missionary, then you're traveling to all these different countries. But that's the common misconception, as you were pointing out earlier, right?
Yeah, like for example, during this time that we were having, like, you know, this process of getting involved in missions, learning more, we had the opportunity to do missions with a church from the U.S. They came to Costa Rica, and they did a really big campaign in the capital. So we went, we shared the gospel with people. We were just translators, like translating what they said in English. And this activity, it was kind of, you know, like easy. It was not complex, but it changed a lot of our
Eye-opening,
hearts.
for sure.
Wow, that's incredibly powerful. And another thing that I actually want to touch on is the cost associated to this. People don't realize that there's a massive cost attached to mission trips, specifically the ones you guys are doing now. Of course, like you guys were serving locally, but now you guys actually travel. And I'm talking about things like sacrifice, the courage to actually go out to a place that you guys are unfamiliar with, to interact with people that might even be potentially hostile towards you guys. So yeah, tell us a bit more about that, like the fear, the courage, and the sacrifices around the trips.
Yeah, I can think immediately of the parable of when was Jesus telling this story of giving like 10 gifts to one person and to other 5 gifts, and God has blessed us, and we want to use our resources to serve Him in what we are doing right now, which is missions, but also that gives, like, that all the lessons that He has gives us as well the responsibility of how to manage them correctly. So just to like reply your question specifically, it's been a lot of planning ahead for sure, like making sure that if we want to prioritize this in our life, then we will need to stop doing some things. Like we will need to for sure say no to some things in our life in order to budget correctly, so we can put it into, I don't know, the 4 or 5 trips we will do in the year. So that's something that with time we've been trying to adjust and adapt, and making sure we're being faithful to the Lord as well on that end, which is planning correctly the resources and the time and
What are the things you guys have had to say no to? I'm curious.
Yes, I would say well, since we are here in Poland and our family is back in Costa Rica, one of the things is, well, the time spent with them, not only like going back to visit because of the costs involved of going so far, but then also like actually the time, even day coming, or the time on usual vacations or usual trips. Those are things that we could see as sacrifice, but really for us, it's a blessing to be able to serve the Lord in missions.
Yes, like I can think, when I think about that question, I can only think about this passage of First Chronicles. It is chapter 29, verse 14. It says, "But who am I and who are my people, that we should be able to give as generously as this? Everything comes from you, and we have given you only what comes from your hand." So for me it's very clear that, okay, like, Lord, you have given us everything. You have given us the possibility to earn money, to work, to have everything. So this is all from you, and at least we should give you back. Give you back what you have gave us. And like, I think you're never prepared when it comes to interacting with new culture. Going to another country and talking to people, or even here in Poland, if you don't know the language or the culture very well. And if you think as a human, it's not possible. Like, you cannot do it well. But I can also think about this passage when God says to Paul, here it says, let me check. It says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness."
Right.
So what I see is that we are not able in our own flesh, but it's God through us. So we can glorify God through all of this. So if you ask me, like, how do you prepare and how do you do this stuff, it's the Holy Spirit. That's the only thing.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the correct answer. And I was just thinking as well on a more like practical terms, because I know that there's a lot of questions on what you were saying, right? Like, how do you manage to do this in terms of cost? So another thing is that when we do this planning with our team, we can talk a bit about it later, but with the team we try to be very focused on how to do this low cost. So how can we stay in places that are affordable for everyone? How can we do public transport? How can we use low-cost airlines? How can we really do this sustainable in time for being able to come back even, or even to create relationship with the places we've been staying into? Because, for example, in Albania, we always go to the same place, and we the manager there knows us, and it's very interesting to be also being able to showcase love in that way.
That is beautiful. So these trips, a majority of them, are self-funded? Because you mentioned a team that you guys are a part of, but I'm assuming that at least to some degree it's self-funded as well, right?
It is self-funded. Yeah.
Like, when we start the year and do our annual budget, we focused our budget on this, like, okay, we expect this amount of mission trips, and we put our money towards this.
That's incredible. I mean, most people don't even have a monthly budget. You guys start like at the beginning of the year and you plan out these trips. That shows a commitment that, as you said, Alberto, is truly driven by the Holy Spirit. But I also want to commend you guys, because it takes a great deal of trust in the Lord and obedience to be able to do that, to trust in His promises that we are just stewards, He provides, and this is what we're called to do, and we're just going to serve the Lord. So I truly love that. And Okay, since we're on the topic of the trips as well, you guys have been to Albania. That's one of the spots, one of the
That's
places.
one of the spots.
Yeah. So one of many. And I've got a couple of stats here that are pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because a significant portion of missionary work is focused on areas and in areas that are where Christianity is already established or where the gospel is accessible. Whereas in Albania, during the Ottoman rule between the 15th and I think the 20th century, experienced like gradual Islamification, right?
Yeah.
So, and the second thing is in the communist era between 67 and 1991, Albania became the world's first officially atheist state. I didn't know this before. Yeah, like we decided to have this conversation. And all religious activity was basically banned and many churches destroyed, right? So the current landscape is as follows. So Islam makes up like 56 to 65% of the population. Christianity, or the historical presence of it at least, 17% to 33%. Non-religious groups, 16 to 25. So my first question is, did you know this before going to Albania? And the second question is, I'm curious what kind of opposition you guys have experienced in Albania, given the stats. I mean, obviously, these are stats that I pulled off the internet, but maybe you guys can speak to the experience on the ground. I'm just kind of curious. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first time we came to Albania, we didn't know those stats. Like, we just came and helped the local missionary from there. We do experience some spiritual, like heaviness, I would say,
Heaviness.
especially in the north part of Albania, because that there was a very strong Muslim community there, and it was kind of hard. We do some prayer walks there. We talked with a local missionary that was doing activities there. And we felt like a very heavy environment in a spiritual way. We also came to the south, where we are still going. And it was also difficult because communities were not related to Christianity at all. They were like a mix of Muslim plus something else. And for us, like, it was, I would say, carefully, I would say easier, because the local missionary from Albania did like all this hard work of going to the community, of trying to build a relationship with the community, because you cannot just go and spread the gospel and not taking into account like the culture and how people behave. So we came there, and it was amazing, because people never heard about the gospel. We were just sharing the gospel for the first time, sharing about Jesus for the first time. Like, kids didn't know what the story about Jesus.
Wow.
Christmas,
It was for Christmas, it was crazy, but we didn't know those stats. Like, we lived those stats, but we didn't know the numbers.
Exactly. Yeah, I would add to that what Alberto was saying is it's exactly how it happened. Like, the missionaries there, like the local missionaries there, really do the heavy work, because it's not only going every day to the people's, like the communities, the families' houses, to give them food, right? To give them some things for primary needs, but also spending time with them. So listening to them. What are your struggles? What are your needs? How can I serve you better? And that's really like the hard part, because you need to do it that consistently. You need to do that every day. And then we just get there to support the work that they've been doing for months or years, and God opened the door. But really, it's that consistency. It's really what opened the door, because in that context, you really, from what we've learned, you need to have a relationship first in order for the person to actually be able to listen you, to understand what you're trying to say, because in that specifically is not only the religious component, but it's associating that religious component to my culture, to what I am, to what I've learned. So it's difficult to disconnect from that, right? It's
Fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith.